take this guy seriously. Where is his eyes? What are his eyes? What is his nose? Part of the War for Cybertron Earthrise line, Airwave is part of the Modulator system, figures that can sometimes break apart and combine to form various different base and battle station forms connected to work with Micromasters. In the Deluxe line, they're based on smaller Micromaster bases with their own set of Micromasters named in G1, but instead the base is now the full figure. A proper Airwave, however, was seen in the Siege 10 pack, but that's not the primary focus with this. Blocks coming together? Is this Tetris? The modulators separate to form ramps, weapon attachments, and various additions to add to the model. Yes, this is parts forming, but sometimes that isn't an issue and just the entire gimmick. I mean, they're robots, they can do whatever they want. Where's the fun if Omega Supreme is all in one piece? Interesting enough, while this isn't technically the original form, it also seems the most complete and solid. Airwave converts into the mobile base, so I guess this is the only one of the two with an actual vehicle form. Gee, why did Modular Deluxes get the short end of the stick? Siege Weaponizers got 3 molds and at least a repaint each, then Earthrise just gets 2, and look, another Weaponizer. To its credit, they did make a bunch of repaints, and there's other figures to expand the gimmick anyway. Sure, there's no exposed clips except for the ones on the top structure, but that's not the point when this is a mobile base. There's treads at the bottom with tiny wheels that are next to useless, but you do have space that's wide, so you can fit a few Micromasters. Works best with jets, especially if you can lift the front so they can fly straight upwards. There's a few gunners on the side, a control radio tower that probably keeps the name in play, some decent paint apps with 2 Decepticon logos at the front, and honestly, this is an evil Micro Metroplex. I think this is the thing that brought the T-Rex into the city in Jurassic Park 2. The Airbase form is not only closer to one of the forms of the original base, but more interactive with 2 attachment points on both sides, making for a better bridge than that one Ironworks mode. This seems to be an airstrip with an airport on the side. I do like the radio tower that extends higher up, which makes sense. You can place jets on the airstrip as long as the wings don't clash into the building, or use the cars as taxis. Maybe you can even walk in, grab sushi, and regret grabbing sushi. I feel it deserves more clips though, and the ramp is tricky to get straight, all using hinges and ports that aren't loose but don't snap into place. It's especially tricky given that the arms underneath aren't evenly leveled. But I do like the details in the building even if it isn't painted, looking more like an IKEA. The defense base is certainly the weakest mode, looking like a kid mushed together different parts to try and make something of it, but in actuality, this is based on his original battle station, and because it's based on something G1, it's perfect and you can't complain about it. I mean, I get that it's not going to be perfect. I like the guns on the top, and they kept the gap inside where a Micromaster could fit. Well, used to fit. But some of the parts just needed to go somewhere. The spare arm seems to be a counterweight, and the tower sort of hides the arm by creating a worse distraction. Now, if only the foot tilt didn't have a stressful snap on the hinge. Sometimes the weights are a little much at the top and it will lean forward. Unfortunately, you can't really bring up the top, so as an alteration, you can use the control tower to prop the entire thing so you don't have to worry about it. Plus, I guess a Micromaster can man it on the back. While that alt mode certainly needed improvements, I think the other two are passable or pretty decent. Strange, the only mode that seems to work the best wasn't on the original toy. Could be more solid and interactive, but it's alright. Robot mode. In robot mode, it's so weird. He feels that he shouldn't have his own identity because he seems to take resemblance to other characters and yet somehow seems to carry his own identity simultaneously. He's got the energy of Tidal Wave, colors of a really dark sea spray, the gun arm of Shockwave, and the torso of Metroplex with his head looking like it's served on a cafeteria tray. Or like he made a hole in a table to shove his head through to set up a prank but didn't think it through. Some of the parts, including the hip joints and peg in the chest, are components carried from Brunt. I think his personality comes with the head shape. It's easy to assume he has a singular eye, but actually he has 2 properly painted eyes. So, what is that, a nose ring? Seems like he slammed his head in, like Stewie Griffin banging on the ceiling. Did someone say, articulation? Head rotation, arms out and in, forward to back, rotation below, elbow bend, waist rotation, hips out and in, forward to back, rotation below, knee bend, rotation again, and foot tilt. This guy seems to look pretty good. He's like an aircraft carrier evolved into sentience. So he's boxy and built strong. Some things to watch out for include the arm rotation. The lower arm seems to hold the joint straight, so you can't seem to bend it and rotate it at the same time. Well, at least the panel on the side here moves out of the way. We get it! You're a Decepticon! You can use the tower components as weapons, either as a singular piece combined with the radio tower, or all together. Being a carryover of the weaponizer gimmick, he carries various blast ports, weapon portholes, and even exposed ports. There's even a porthole on the back of the head, either for blast or lockdown can kiss his ass. I didn't know a requirement of the modulator was missing a hand. Unlike Ironworks, it doesn't seem there's an official weapon mode for this guy, but I'm sure you can come up with something. Look at the exposed detail in the chest. Put on a shirt! I feel like something for the Decepticon army, Airwave certainly fits, keeping with the industrial style, but more for military purposes over construction. The alt modes, however, don't really seem to feel as complete compared to the other modulator figure. I wouldn't blame anyone for skipping this, but I can't imagine an army of these doing decently like a different version of Tankor. If you're not interested, that's fine, but I like that I have a counter to Ironworks and more to work with the gimmick, and I still think he's good. You see how his skull has imploded? Wear a helmet.